is a Fox News alert on the NFL's newest scandal, Deflategate. Patriots coach Bill Belichick says he does not know how footballs became deflated during the AFC title game that got his team to the Super Bowl, but declining to answer any questions at a news conference just a short time ago earlier today. He says the Patriots quarterback Tom Brady can talk about his preferences in football inflation. And sure enough, Brady is now expected to address reporters later today. We're being told 4 p.m. Eastern. We will have more on these breaking developments on this in a moment.
This is Outnumbered. I'm Andrea Tanteros, and here with us today, Harris Faulkner, Kimberly Guilfoyle, political commentator and national spokeswoman for the Libre Initiative, Rachel Campos-Duffy, and today's hashtag, one lucky guy, all rise, Judge Alex, fresh out of Miami, and he's outnumbered.
I love that.
Great to be back.
That was, can we do the show from Miami maybe once? Can we come to you next time?
We do have, we layer in Miami too. Yesterday my wife was wearing a tank top over her bathing suit. So
listen to you.
You love to just rub it in, don't you, Judge?
And with that intro, when he does a show, he needs to have you do it. Because that was an awesome intro.
I could moonlight.
I would definitely have you as my bailiff.
I was going to say, wouldn't it be a great bailiff? Do I get a nightstick?
Mason
handcuffs?
is so fun.
Nobody would ever leave the courtroom would be the problem with that.
And nobody would listen to me either. That's the problem.
I love it.
All right, let's get to it. The foreign policy standoff between the president and Congress. In a move that blindsided the White House, Speaker of the House John Boehner inviting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stand before Congress and push for new sanctions against Iran. Netanyahu will speak before a joint session of Congress in March as lawmakers on both sides are pushing for fresh penalties if there's no deal soon to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran, a measure the president promises to veto. Speaker Boehner says his invite in no way breaches protocol.
I did not consult with the White House. The Congress can make this decision on its own. I don't believe I'm poking anyone in the eye. There is a serious threat that exists in the world. And the president last night kind of papered over it.
Well, last night, referring to the president's State of the Union address, but a White House that was caught off guard appears to see this very differently. Now, traveling on Air Force One with the president, Press Secretary Josh Earnest saying, quote, this particular event seems to be a departure from that protocol, but again, the president has spent more time and on more occasions talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu than any other world leader. So I'm confident that at some point, White House officials will have an opportunity to talk to their Israeli counterparts about what the Israeli plans are. Okay, Judge, I want to go to you first on this. This appears to be the biggest clash that we've seen between Congress and the White House on the Middle East. Of course, the president talking about sanctions against Iran, saying, I'm going to veto anything that imposes sanctions. If you look, there actually is some Democratic support. I believe 12 Democrats are joining Republicans and following in Mr. Boehner's lead, saying, listen, we have to do something. We've got to put together some legislation that could impose sanctions on Iran. And, Judge, if they get those 12 Democrats, they may be able to override a presidential veto. So this could be a really big deal.
And it should be a really big deal, because this is not partisan politics. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, what happened in Paris wouldn't have been a few guys with machine guns killing a handful. It could have been a dirty bomb going off and killing hundreds of thousands of people. That is a total game changer, and Netanyahu knows it. So I think that this is exactly the type of situation where Democrats and Republicans really have to put everything aside and override a presidential veto. The argument that this is a snub against the White House, a violation of protocol, seriously? I mean, the way the White House has treated Netanyahu in the past, where President Obama, because he was angry that he wasn't making concessions on settlements, left Netanyahu with staff and went to dinner with his wife. That's right. And that's just one example. It's never been a good relationship.
I was going to say, the White House has snubbed Netanyahu on a number of occasions. Even when Netanyahu, Harris, was in Israel, he snubbed visiting the Knesset, which was also a tradition. So now the White House is saying, this is traditional diplomatic protocol. They're violating it. Is it a big deal? I mean, the judge mentioned how he treats Netanyahu, but how about how the president treats Congress?
I always like to look back at history, too. By the way, the joint session speech is set for February 11th, just so we put that out there. In April of 2007, then Speaker of House Nancy Pelosi traveled to Syria. Do you remember this? She went to meet with President Bashar al-Assad despite the Bush administration's objections. Pelosi wanted to start a dialogue with Syria. Diplomatic relations had broken down in the 1990s, and President George W. Bush rejected the negotiation, saying, well, you know, usually that isn't what we want to do. That's not what's going to work. Why was it okay then, but it's not okay now? I use history as the benchmark to inform us on what the question should be. Why is it not okay?
That's the reason why the public hates politics so much, because it always comes down to a matter of whose ox is being gored.
That's right. And Kimberly, specifically, the White House at the time in 2007 told Nancy Pelosi they did not want her traveling to Syria to meet with Bashar Assad. This time they're saying they're blindsided. But what do you expect? I mean, he has flouted Congress on so many different issues. Congress is now saying, hey, we've got some power too. We're inviting him to speak. And you know what? I actually think they're doing Obama a favor. He doesn't seem to have a big stick on foreign policy, despite what Joe Biden says. They're saying, look, if you look at Netanyahu standing up there, that's a message to the Iranians. If you don't cooperate, look whose side we're on.
Well, there hasn't been presidential leadership as it relates to our relationship with Israel. So we're seeing some in that vacuum. You're seeing Boehner and you're seeing Congress step in to fill the void in a very important area with respect to our national security, foreign policy, and that of Israel. We have really faltered as a country to really embrace them because of the direction of this leadership and their political ideology. I think this is crucial. He did not violate any constitutional laws. I'm happy to see this kind of stepping up to let the president know you will no longer act unilaterally. We represent the people of this great country, and this is the direction we need to go in.
It's strategically smart on his part. I mean, think about it. I mean, even very conservative Republicans like Trey Gowdy, Matt Salmon in Arizona, I mean, their Facebook pages and Twitter and phone lines blew up when they voted for Boehner because the base wasn't sure that he would be tough enough against Obama. I think this shows that he's tough. I think it represents the will of the members of the House. They're mad not just about executive orders. I've talked to some of them, and they are mad about him coming into the, being welcomed into the well of the House and giving a campaign speech instead of a State of the Union.
Very quickly, Rachel, your husband is a member of the House, which if you're watching and you don't know that, he's a congressman. Quickly, do you sense this is a new tone that Boehner's going to take? Tough talk with the White House.
I think he's going to get a lot of positive feedback on this, and I think that positive feedback is going to encourage him to keep it up.
Interesting. Well, if his weekly address was any indication, if he says, well, if the president expects us to capitulate on this, quote unquote, hell no.
That's right.
All right, let's move on. We're going to turn now to the NFL scandal, which is getting bigger by the day, really by the hour, because by 4 o'clock Eastern, it could be huge. The accusations that the Super Bowl-bound Patriots broke the rules by using underinflated footballs. Some players say balls will, with less air, give them a better grip. Makes sense, especially in the nasty winter weather. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick this morning faced reporters for the first time since the scandal broke. And as a new report surfaces about concerns the Patriots used lighter balls in games earlier this season, Belichick had this blunt denial a little while ago.
When I came in Monday morning, I was shocked to learn of the news reports about the footballs. I had no knowledge whatsoever of this situation until Monday morning. I would say I've learned a lot more about this process in the last 3 days than I knew or had talked about it in the last 40 years that I've coached in this league.
Meanwhile, a former Patriot defending his old team, Dante Stallworth, believes New England is getting a bad rap because of past offenses.
I do think that the Patriots definitely don't get the benefit of the doubt whenever things like this arise. I think that ever since the so-called Spygate issue back in 2007 came about, and everyone started to question their Super Bowls, everyone started to question their wins, and they still do to this day.
All right, so he just mentioned Spygate. That was when Belichick got busted for spying on another team's defensive signals, and he got fined $500,000. So, okay, I kind of want to set this up with the attorney and the judge, and one of you gets to pick the defense, and one of you be the prosecutor in all of this. Okay?
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're going to try this case a little bit, because honestly, now it comes down to something that matters about the future. I mean, do you look to do something about this game? Do you kick Belichick out? What do you do?
Well, if you're hoping that I'm going to be the defense attorney, you've got another thing.
There's no defense.
All right, Kimberly, it's all on you, babe.
First of all, I have to tell you, as a matter of full disclosure, I'm a Dolphins fan.
Ooh,
okay.
So, I'm sorry, by the way.
Right, yeah, not nearly as sorry as I am. But as far as the Patriots are concerned, this is now a pattern. I mean, he got the name Belichick because of the reputation for doing things like this. The spying incident was something that happened from 2002 to 2007, where they were spying and videotaping signals from other teams. For a coach, a head coach, to get fined personally $500,000, and then to come back with this, and they took away a first-round draft pick.
All right, let me show you how good Kimberly is. She's going to defend this guy. She's going to defend this team. Go for it.
To take off the white hat? All right. Listen, look, they have to have some conclusive proof, right? So right now they're saying that there were 11 out of 12 balls potentially were deflated, everyone except for the one that the kicker used. That is a problem because there's an advantage in cold weather to be able to do that. If they can prove this and put the evidence forward, there's a wide range of options, right? Between another fine, taking away a first-round draft pick again. But there are also people calling for them to be disqualified because that is a game changer. So, but for that action of them, could it then, in fact, change the outcome of the game? You would have to prove that in fact. But look, you've got Tom Brady. Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks to play the game, after my favorite, Joe Montana from the 49ers. So let's see. I think it's going to be tough to prove, especially no one wants a Super Bowl spoiler.
Aaron Rodgers is pretty darn good, too. Yep. You're from Wisconsin, and you're looking at this as a fan. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, Aaron Rodgers says he likes his with a lot of air in it. I don't know enough about football, to be honest, but let me tell you this. From a mom perspective, football's supposed to be good, clean, fun you watch with your kids. I sit down to watch the NFL. I have to talk about Beyonce's stripper dance on halftime. I have to talk about domestic violence. Wow. I have to talk about animal abuse and now I have to discuss cheating. Can't they just, the NFL, get your stuff together and make this, understand your market. It's families who want to sit down and watch good, clean, fun football and not have heavy talks.
And the NFL better get it right because they're coming off of that stinging rebuke about the Ray Rice punishment where they were really light-handed on it.
Interesting how they keep they're just stepping in it, so to speak.
Well, if they take away a first-round draft pick, I don't think that's that big of a deal because if there are teams,
that's a big deal.
Oh, that's a big deal.
But wait, if teams thought, if teams thought that they could cheat and get away with it, I'm sure a number of teams would say, "Fine, we'll sacrifice a first-round draft pick."
And that's my point. My point is that last time when they caught him cheating, they fined him $500,000 personally, and they took away a first-round draft pick. If I'm sentencing somebody for burglarizing a home, you better believe I take into consideration: have they done a burglary before and didn't learn their lesson? And if they did, the punishment is much more severe.
I just wanted to say very quickly, I thought that press conference was abysmal. I thought he stood up there, he filibustered, and when he was asked questions, no, if you're going to call a press conference and invite the media, then you have to answer their questions, and he didn't answer any of the questions. He just kept saying, I don't know about those balls, I don't have any information about the balls, I don't know about the balls.
Actually, it was kind of how he always handles his press conferences. I didn't see it that different. It was just single topic.
He did the equivalent of taking the fifth.
Yeah.
Every time they asked him a question, he said,
no.
I don't know anything more about this.
He took a knee. It's football. Keep up.
He actually pointed it at Tom Brady. He said, well, ask him.
Yeah. Well, 4 p.m. Eastern,
he's like,
Tom Brady.
Ready to pay the fine.
Who, by the way, has great hair, even after he takes his helmet off. I don't know how he does that. But he'll be on. He'll tell us what he thinks about it.
Way to be focused, Terry.
Okay, I'm hungry. That's the problem.
Not a bad
and here's the
answer.
Domino's has a message for the Obama administration. The pizza giant says Obamacare and a rule with it is forcing the restaurant chain to post calorie information, and it just won't work. And that while it carries the possibility of jail time, it's impossible to comply with. So, should they change it? Plus, one major retailer is announcing it'll carry plus-size clothing, but only online. And now that's sparking a civil rights debate over whether overweight people should be considered a protected class. A judge and an attorney? Really? This is going to be good. Right after the show, catch more from the couch on the web. Join us for Outnumbered Overtime by logging on to foxnews.com/outnumbered. Click on the Overtime tab, and you can get onto the live chat, which sits right next to the live box you can watch us in with your Facebook and Twitter page. Tell us what you want to talk about. We'll be waiting for you.
Johnny, even after careers like ours, we're still going strong.
What's your secret, Richard?
Blue Emu.
Oh, I've used Blue Emu for over 10 years. I love their odor-free Blue Emu Continuous Pain Relief Spray.
Me too. It's got an active ingredient to relieve my muscle aches and joint pains.
And soothing emu oil for those hard-to-reach places.
I knew you was a winner.
I'm glad we had this talk.
Blue Emu. It works fast.
And you won't stink.
Shopping online is as easy as it gets. Wouldn't it be great if hiring plumbers, carpenters, and even piano tuners were just as simple? Thanks to Angie's List, now it is. We've made hiring anyone from a handyman to a dog walker as simple as a few clicks. Buy their services directly at angieslist.com. No more calling around, no more hassles. Start shopping from a list of top-rated providers today.
Angie's List is revolutionizing local service again. Visit angieslist.com today.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. There we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
Push your enterprise and you can move the world. But to get from the old way to the new, you'll need the right IT infrastructure. From a partner who knows how to make your enterprise more agile, borderless, and secure. HP helps business move on all the possibilities of today and stay ready for everything that is still to come.
Release the magic. Pet Rescue. Download now.
Okay, listen up. Every work in the menu. Mayo, corn dogs, you are so out of here.
The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure. 24 vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, and 9 grams of protein.
Ensure. Nutrition in charge.
What happens when you take someone who's up for anything to a place you drive miles to see? Road Trip with Anna Koyman, only on Fox & Friends. Brought to you by Audi, Truth in Engineering.
No matter where you live, the temperature will probably never hit minus 20 degrees. But that doesn't matter to our window testing engineers here at Renewal by Andersen. Our replacement window, made of our Fibrex material, is tested to withstand 180-degree temperatures, down to minus 20, 8 inches of rain per hour, and 120-mile-an-hour winds. Not all window companies perform this testing, but because we're the replacement window division of Andersen, we test our windows and then build them to be better than they have to be. Buy one window and get one 40% off with no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. Don't make the poor quality vinyl window mistake. Our Fibrex material is twice as strong as vinyl. Right now, buy one window and get one 40% off with no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. Call for your free window diagnosis. 1-800-912-8844.
It's unworkable. That's what Domino's Pizza is saying about the final Obamacare regulation that is forcing restaurant chains to display calorie information. In an interview, the pizza chain's executive vice president says the rule is too broad in expanding the definition of what qualifies as a menu. She tells the Free Beacon, "We no longer know what a menu is. It's really hard to interpret." Essentially, they're saying anything that a consumer can look at and make a potential ordering decision from is a menu. So if you take it to the broadest thing, it could be an ad on the television. Violators could face a fine or jail time, but only if they intentionally misrepresent a product or its calorie content. When something is unbelievably confusing, we take it to the judge. Oh, my goodness. Pizza, pizza, pizza.
Well, first, today apparently is the day of full disclosure. I represented Domino's as a lawyer throughout most of Florida, actually, and they were a great company to work with.
Did you get free pizza?
I did. I did. But I'll say...
Domino's fan, I have to tell you.
Do you have to declare that on your... Oh, no. We won't go there.
Okay.
What do you think about
Well, my thinking is that nobody's going to get arrested for this. I mean, you know, they're concerned about we're going to get arrested.
Jail time or
jail time and stuff like that. No, I guarantee you there are no prosecutors out there, state or federal, who are saying, you know, I want the extra pepperoni on a pizza case through the calorie count off case. Nobody wants to do that. I am in favor of putting calories on all of the information, all the menus. I like the fact, I think New York has that ordinance, don't
Yes.
they?
Yeah.
So I like that. I think people should be aware of what they're eating. But if a law is vague, as you know, if a law is ambiguous, then it's going to be unenforceable. It's not a comfort to somebody if they actually do get arrested. I think the penalty should be civil penalties, a fine.
But what about
something
when
like
I'm
that.
watching the TV and I'm just starving and I see the Domino's commercial? They're like,
that has to be written so that's not a menu.
for 20